Hello? Is this thing on? All right. This is a message for all of you. You have to leave. You can come back, but you have to leave.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? It's Joel Casanova, your favorite mobile dance educator. I'm sure you're all asking the question, from where are we leaving, Joel? To where are we going, Joel? Anywhere but here, okay? So I'm going to propose something that a lot of people think is awesome, and a lot more people think is a terrible idea, okay? So I would propose to the whole dance world an open border policy, okay? Half the reason I chose that title is because it's low-key political and it would grab people's attention. And the other side is because I think it's so legitimate for dance businesses specifically, dance studios, dance conventions, dance training centers, all the places. So, especially studios, I'm not a studio. I'm a mobile dance educator, right? So I go to different places. I'm constantly moving in and out of borders, right? I'm constantly crossing borders into places, out of places, through places, internationally, regionally, nationally, locally, all the places. So, an open border policy would be that instead of choosing a home studio, like this is where I live, you are constantly nomadically getting dance training from as many places as possible. Right, so instead of like, this is my dance place, this is where I get dance or dance training, I am going to A for this, B for this, C for this. Personally, right, I think that this would grow everyone. This would grow everyone in every kind of way. I have 3 specific areas that I think it would grow in that I'm going to cover today, but everyone would benefit from it. Number 1, you, the dancer. Okay, so by going to different places, you're going to interact with different teachers, right? New teachers equal new things. It's a pretty, basic equation. That could be old things that are taught in a new way, and you understand them, or you get like a different depth to it, or just new things completely. New things, literally, like you now know a pirouette, but you never knew a pirouette before. You now know how to do a kip up and you've never done a kip up before. You know how to do a back tuck and now you've never known how to do a back tuck before, but now you do, right? Completely new things. Or you can think about the fact that every teacher is different in the same way that every dancer is different, in the same way that every human is different. And I, Joel Casanova, will emphasize, I guess you could say, something specific versus someone else will emphasize a different thing, right? So if I'm like, it doesn't matter if you get this specific move right, I want you to get used to taking risks. Versus the other teacher is like, no, I want, even if you don't take risks, the things that you know, you need to nail, right? And so those are 2 completely different perspectives, and nothing is wrong, but by you going to both teachers, you're getting the benefit of both, instead of just getting the one. I'm always taking risks, but I never nail the things that I get, or I'm never taking risks, but I nail everything that I have, right? So just that one specific thing. Secondly, you as a dancer, let me say this. I was talking to someone that I mentor the other day, and he, at one point, was taking classes at 3 different studios all at the same time, right? Like simultaneously. And that is so not natural. Not that, well, some people do say you're not supposed to, but usually it's unsaid. Like, this is your studio. Why are you leaving? Why are you going somewhere else, right? And so sometimes it's not said out loud. It's just like, well, I'm not supposed to because this is where I dance. And we're like, no one said you couldn't. But it's like this feeling as soon as you try, people are like, what's going on? Where are you going? Or some people are a little more overt and they're like, we own you. You got to stay. So anyways, we were talking with him. I was talking with him about him, asking him questions about that because that's, again, not super normal. And one of the things that he said that I feel just expressed in words what I had always thought was I got a better understanding of dance. And he didn't say ballet, he didn't say Irish, he didn't say tap, he didn't say hip hop, he didn't say any specific style. He said it broadened my understanding of dance. Because if I take ballet from one studio and then I go to another studio and take ballet, I'm now no longer learning ballet, the style. I'm now understanding different aspects of dance because I have different teachers and different communities to bond with, right? So it's like, oh, I'm now understanding dance as a whole, like what it is as an art and what it is to me and what I want to use it for, versus just learning this style in this place at this time, right? So it's very different. Number 2, community as a whole, like the dance world will grow better. As a dance teacher, let me take my aside to teach to other dance teachers and their students. We like to think that we know what's going on. And we like to have our students know we know what's going on. When in reality, we have no idea what's going on. I mean, we know obviously what's going on. But the idea is that we're still human. We're still people. We don't know and have control of everything at all times, right? So what grows a teacher besides getting instruction themselves? Having new students. With an open border policy and everyone circulating to different training places or different studios or different classes, we as teachers are growing because we are now learning how to teach what we know in different ways to different people. So, by having this circulation of students, we are growing the dance world's dance teachers so that the dance teachers are better. With better dance teachers, you have better students because there's better training. And that's when they circulate to grow more teachers, to grow more students. You see where the recycle symbol kind of comes in? It's like this is what is going to grow all of us. Instead of being stagnant, we need to have this running water. Running water never builds bacteria. Stagnant water does. And if I could use another analogy, stagnant water is where mosquitoes lay eggs, but not in running water. And everyone hates mosquitoes. So if you don't want mosquitoes in the dance world, circulate. Open border policy, 2024. The other thing is, if I, as a dancer, am staying in my dance studio, that's cool. You have community. I think that's wonderful. My thing is, the dance world is so much bigger than where you're dancing right now. So, do you really have a relationship with the dance world? Not really. You have a relationship with your friends who are dancers and are part of the dance world. Yes. But you have a relationship with your dance community, not the dance world as a whole. And there's so much more richer opportunities that come from having a larger spread in the dance world because those relationships grow and build and circulate and, again, stimulate the growth that we're already going through. So you can grow with your own dance community, yes. You can grow even more with more community. Number 3, which is probably the one that's going to ruffle some feathers more than the other points that I've said. So if I go missing, just know that the dance studio Gestapo got me, okay? It is a proven fact that competition in business is good for everyone. Period. If there's a small town, right? We have a small town and there's one coffee shop in it. Just one, right? Small town, one coffee shop. There is no reason for that coffee shop to grow or try at all. They have no one else to fight it. What it does make them is lazy, right? We have a monopoly. Everyone's going to come to us. Why would we try harder, right? You can get coffee from Walmart or whatever. Like, yeah, that's the only competition, but that's a completely different market. To sell coffee in a coffee shop, that is their market, and they have a monopoly on it. Why should I try harder? I have no reason to, right? That's just human nature. However, you take that same small town and you add 2 more coffee shops. There's now 3 in a tiny town, right? Their competition now is against each other. And guess what? That might cause more tension for you as a business, but it is beneficial for everyone, right? The consumers, like your customers, now have to choose which coffee shop they want to go to, right? So you now have to say, this is why you should choose me over them. It's just basic business knowledge, right? So I'm going to add this, or I'm going to grow this, or I'm going to get better at this, and it keeps you sharp as a business completely. Or for the consumers, you have now 3 places to choose from. If you're further on that side of town, you can go to this closer coffee shop. Or you're like, I will go farther to the other side of town. Why? Because I prefer their chai versus this people's chai. Or I prefer their, espresso versus this people's espresso. Or I like this vibe that they have in their coffee shop versus this vibe. Right? You can choose from all 3 at that point. But for a business, for you as the business, you are forced to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what can we improve on? Or what are they doing that we can also improve on or add or grow, or they are really good at this, so we're going to cut that from our menu and focus on this. We're going to shoulder into this one niche. It stimulates everyone, right? If a dance studio has their own dance community, why should they try to be a better dance studio if they know no one's going to leave? Why would I try so much harder to be better than other dance studios? Instead, you can just create a bubble and an echo chamber saying, we're the best dance studio. I love this dance studio. Why would I ever leave? Then you get your students to say the same thing, and they're like, this is the best dance studio. Why would I ever leave? Because they have no other options. They can't leave, and that's the only thing they've heard. But as soon as they hear, wow, this is another really good dance studio, and I've been there, and I'm open to go there, and I've taken there, and I know their teachers firsthand. Now, which one am I going to take more classes from, assuming you have to take more classes from one than the other? Well, I'm going to choose this one. Why? Because it's closer to my house. Or I'm going to go farther from my house, specifically because I like what these people provide me. Right? They have a really good competition team versus these people have great recreational classes versus these people have a pre-professional program versus these people do paid gigs. Oh man, I need to get paid. I need to have that pressure of doing a paid gig. Let me go to this place. Instead of, well, I've never done a paid gig. Why? Because I do competition team. Why? Because this is what my studio does. Well, there's other places. And you're like, but I can't go there. Why? Because this is my dance studio. It's like this cyclical thinking. In business, you are reaching so many more people if you have circulation of students. If we implement an open border policy where anyone can go anywhere, not only literally, but like the unspoken rule is like, yeah, of course you can go to other studios. Right? You are now affecting more students than you would have if you just stayed with your 50 kids. Instead, you're impacting 150 kids. So you, as a dance studio, as a dance business, or whatever it is that you do, you are now having twice as much impact, if not 3 times as much impact, because you have people circulating through your studio. So really, you're growing twice as many people, and you're putting your fingerprint on so many more things, because one kid might go to Europe to dance for, a ballet. Right? Another kid might go to Africa and join like an African studio, or like learn from there and then bring that knowledge back to America or South America, or ballroom dancing or social dancing, like all these different aspects you have your fingerprint on, and you're like, I helped this kid get this way because I helped him with XYZ. I'm so glad, right? And you want to grow students, right? That's why you started a studio, right? It's a rhetorical question that's actually a literal question. You should be literally asking yourself that. Why is it that I'm teaching kids, right? If you were to look at my track record as a dance instructor, you'd think, and sometimes I even think, I said this in my cross-training video, which you should definitely watch. I said this in my cross-training video, like, if you look back at my resume, you're like, hey, you've been in like 1,000 different places. Like, why? And there's literal reasons why, but it's like, where's your focus, dude? Like, aren't you gonna like dive into like a specific community and like stay there? I would say no now, but beforehand I was like, why? But like now I'm like, I have affected so many students in so many different areas, in so many places. For like one dance year versus like multiple dance years versus like students that have been with me. I have a student that's been with me since 2018. 5 years. Wait, no, maybe more. At least 2018. Let me just say that. 5 years. 5 solid years. Versus one, I had 2 semesters. Or another studio, a studio that I taught like up in Williamsburg, which is, if you don't know where Williamsburg is, it's like an hour away. 2 semesters. 1 full dance year. Fall, spring. Done. Never went back. 5 years, 2 semesters. These are totally different ends of the spectrum. But I have affected specific people in specific ways for what I've been called to do. I want to affect the dance world. I want to teach dancers or people to be dancers or my students. And if you're only going to come for one class, I need to be the best instructor I can be for you today, right now. That's why I'm so passionate about this, because when I see people stay in one place, again, don't get me wrong, having an inner circle of people that you can trust is awesome. And having an inner circle of people who are pushing you and know your history and your background is awesome. But if you say, I can only talk to my 2 friends, and there's a whole dance world, like a sea of dancers that you could be interacting with and having great relationships with, you're limiting yourself now. This is no longer a choice of having a deep relationship versus a wide relationship. You are putting a gate around yourself and staying. Or, which is even more unfortunate, which is even more common, is that someone is putting a gate on you. But they can't force you. Okay? You have a choice to grow as a dancer. So make that choice.